Hi, I'm Nicholas Wallwork. I'm joined today by Martin Roberts to talk to you about our top tips for residential land development. So, Martin,
It's a dream for a lot of people.
it's a dream for a lot of people. It's not as easy as you think to find good land because everyone else is trying to do it.
Yeah.
So, can you, give me your kind of top first tip? First thing that pops into your head about land. Land, we're talking about new building houses on that style of development rather than refurbishments.
Okay, the most important thing is to understand your local land plan, as in development plan. So you need to be starting by going to the local authority and looking at what their, if you like, their land plan for the area you're thinking about is. So which bits of land are designated as things you can build on, which bits of land you have absolutely no chance, which bits are in the development boundary, which bits are outside. Because until you understand what their attitude towards planning is, you might as well just forget it, because you can have all the great ideas in the world and you're not even going to get over the first hurdle unless you understand what their town or village or county or national plan is.
What their attitude is.
And then I would then focus my attentions on areas within that plan where you're going to be more likely to get a positive response. So you go, okay, fine. Well, there's no point looking over here because it's Greenbelt, and there's no point looking over there because there's been 10 applications and they've all been turned down. We know that this area here, it's a bit of infill in between such and such a little village and such a village. They're really keen for that. So can I find any land in that area? Now, the only thing is that you will probably join a list of people who are also looking for that. But you'd be amazed at how many people don't know how much information is available there on the town, and the local authority information sites to give you a clue as to where you might want to put your efforts. And then it's a case of thinking, okay, well, what is the probability that this bit of land could be a viable development project? In which case you're just looking at practicalities. You're looking at, the topography. I had a site that I looked at, which was in the most amazing location, overlooking an estuary, and it was an amazing plot of land. But it was in an area of outstanding natural beauty. Topographically, it was a hillside, and I know that somebody did buy that, and they spent over £1 million on groundworks alone, because they were digging into this hillside. So it's gabion baskets, you know what they are? These big baskets that you fill with rocks. So they had to shore up the whole, the hillside. They had to do so many sort of surveys on waterways and natural flows of water, and put in pipes to take away drainage, and had to allow for flooding, and a certain amount of rain coming down, what would happen to the water that went on that bit of land. The difference, I'm just...
Don't buy on a hill.
I'm just... in a nutshell, what I'm saying, the difference in between, and this is an extreme example, right? But the difference between that and a nice flat bit of land, that you've got to check access to. So how easy is it? Because the people who are going to possibly be, people who will put potential barriers in your way are the highways people.
Highways and neighbours.
Yeah, highways and neighbours, exactly. But they're going to want to know that there's reasonable access for traffic, for getting, and what effect that is going to have on the local community. So, unfortunately, there is a lot of preparation work you have to do before you even get to the point of of buying a plot of land and starting to build on it, by even applying for planning permission. So I think when it comes to buying land, you almost have to expect that you're going to have to cast aside quite a lot. It's going to take you quite a few before you find one that ticks all the boxes.
We always start with any of our developments. We always start with the planners going for a bit more than you really want, because then you can gracefully retract with the planners, let them feel like they've won, and you end up with hopefully what you wanted in the first place. You just touched upon the word infill site a moment ago. Can you just explain what you mean by that?
So if you've got a development and you've got another development, and a bit of land in the middle is either going to be separated out to separate those bits of land, or so it could be greenbelt as a sort of, if you like, a natural barrier between developments just splurging into one, or you could find that there is an area between them, which has had some development, like brownfield developments,
Yeah.
which have been developed on, and maybe fall into disrepair or whatever, which are much more likely to be a natural place for further development, rather than, you know,
on the edge of a
something
town
which doesn't have
where they
doesn't have
they don't want to grow out too far. And interesting, I just saw in our next village along, there was one house that was a good 100 metres out of the village on the road, and they've just putting 3 or 4 houses in between that and the village.
Yeah. Okay.
So again, exactly that. It was just a farmer's field, but because there was the sort of precedent, not there is a real thing called precedent in planning, but this other house was a fair bit away from the whole of the village. That was deemed, developable land.
Shall I tell you my favourite ever story about developing within the village boundary?
Please go for it.
So this it might be an apocryphal story, so forgive me, but there is a story. Somebody had a major spat with the planners, who said that he started building because he didn't engage in them. This is another big tip. He's engaged with the planners early on in the process, right? You need to get them on your side.
Absolutely.
Because they are not necessarily the harbingers of doom. You've got to get them as people who can help you. And they said that he built outside, or he started construction outside the village boundary.
Right.
So he literally got his JCB. He dug up the village sign,
Did he?
and he dug a new hole 25 yards down the road, replaced the sign, and then he said, "Well, there you go. I'm now inside the village boundary."
Brilliant. Real true story.
He
Top
moved-
tip to everyone at home. Just
all-
dig up the village boundary sign. Job done. You can reclaim extra land.
Welcome to Biggleswick. And Biggleswick is now starting 50 feet further down the road.
Another 3 houses.
Happens to be, yeah. But anyway, so it's really important to understand boundaries. It's really to understand the designation of land, because there is stuff that you will just never, unless there are dramatic changes, and you never know. I mean, people do buy stuff which, I mean, this is a bit of political hot potato, but they do buy some of their land bank it, which means they buy it and then they hold it. But they buy stuff which currently is never going to have a chance of getting planning. But things change,
And people that do that tend to be bigger organisations with very deep pockets.
Yeah.
Because to land bank stuff, you've got to be a fund or overseas high net worth that can do that.
So to keep it simple, you're looking for ideally stuff that's already been developed on, that you can knock down whatever's there. So that is
brownfield.
Brownfield kind of stuff. The only thing you've got to then look out for is to make sure that the land itself hasn't been contaminated.
The contamination survey would be one. Land bank, very key point.
You would definitely want to do.
Covenants as well.
Yeah. Okay. So
don't forget covenants.
Covenants. Thank you. Rights of way. If you've got paths going across it, there might be, as you say, covenants prohibiting certain things from being built on that land.
Yeah.
There might be covenants saying if you do build on that land, you have to pay away a portion of your profits to somebody who sold that land 2 or 3 or 4 times ago.
Yeah. Speaking of which, are you talking about ransom strips?
Yes. Well, no, I wasn't.
That's not ransom strips, but that's another. But leading on from that nicely, we've actually got one on a previous site.
You own a ransom strip? You have somebody who's got ransom.
Yeah,
in case you don't know,
the clients bought a
site.
ransom
strips. We're supposed to explain to people what they're all about.
That could be a strategy. Create ransom strips.
Buy ransom strips. A ransom strip is basically a small bit of land which just happens to be vital to the redevelopment of another bit of land. So if you like, you can then charge a ridiculous amount of. It could be the size of this room.
Could be 2 foot.
Well, it could be 2 foot. Yeah, absolutely. But you can say, no, I own that 2 foot bit of land, but it gives you access, and
you can't cross it.
You can't cross it. So, but anyway, so you're looking for stuff that that has the potential. If it's got a building on it, that's a really good starting point. A brownfield, it's had something developed on it previously. That makes life easier. One of the things which is really going to surprise you is the cost of getting services in. If you've not done it before, you will not believe how much it costs to get electricity, gas, water to a plot of land. I mean, we are talking tens of thousands of pounds. You've only got to get it from there to here. How can you charge me £10,000 for that? They go, if you want the electricity, that's what it's going to cost you, mate. And they suck fingers, and it's like,
especially at the moment, we've got the market at the moment is going mad for energy. And the cost, you can't even sign up with half the providers for a contract. They just won't take on new
Yeah.
contracts at the moment. It's mad.
So we go for
Tricky,
we
tricky.
build wind turbines and solar
gonna
power
have
and we
to. We're
dig
gonna have to
things. Yeah, absolutely.
Go proper eco.
So you know, so I would suggest for your first project, you want to go low hanging fruit. You want to go stuff that's flat. You want to go stuff that's had something built on it that you can knock down.
Yep.
Because it's likely then you've got services in place.
Yep.
You want to then, because then you learn all the things you have to do. Because you still have to have the BAT surveys. You still have to have the newt surveys.
B surveys.
You still have to have the B surveys. And you know, you still have to go through that. You still have to consult with the neighbours. So it's quite a good. It will be a learning curve, but it's a learning curve with a much more likelihood of success than something which might feel a wow, but actually is probably destined to failure from the start.
Yeah, absolutely. Crikey, I think we've covered enough there, haven't we?
I think so.
I think the overriding message is get a good planning consultant on your team. They can check a lot of this on.
Yeah.
Get a good project manager or QS team to price up the risk of contamination, any land issues, all that stuff. Your solicitor can check things like the covenants and the legal side. So again,
and also just a lot of people when it comes to these things like right of way and survey, you can always take out insurance.
True. Yeah.
Which covers you
Really good point.
against things being found in the future. So it can. Sometimes you can't get every single I dotted and T crossed, but for relatively small amounts of money, you can insure against that there ever being a problem in the future.
Yeah, an indemnity policy. I've used that on numerous occasions.
Good.
And it's useful when you're buying and selling, because sometimes someone buying your building might be put off by an issue, but you can present them the indemnity. You go, look, we've wrapped this up in a little bow for you.
Yeah.
We've solved the problem.
Exactly.
It can stop your sale falling through.
Yeah,
so
exactly. And it's
Critical.
going to cost you a couple of £100 to get that indemnity insurance. It has a perceived value of a lot more than that.
Yeah.
So actually, that insurance policy might not cost you a lot of money.
No, exactly. Make it easy for the buyer and you won't lose your sale.
Exactly.
So I guess the key message, the summary of this video is there's lots to think about, lots of different areas, legal, planning, sourcing the right land, looking at all those kind of issues. But the overriding message we probably want to get across is...
Well, one, we can help you.
One we can help you
because if you've got a plot of land, we can always help in terms of
with our joint venture.
turning that plot of land into a development opportunity.
Yes.
But also we can help with guidance in terms of if you're looking to go down that route, how to find the right bits of land and that kind of thing.
Absolutely. We can help right from the sourcing of the land through to the analysis of it, partnering with you and getting it developed. So if you own a land site, or if you've got enough capital you want to go in and partner with us to find your land site and build something hugely exciting, then reach out propertymentors.tv, and please do like and subscribe around this video, and we'll see you on another video very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.